Hello and welcome to the first episode of In Conversation with Ward Security. It's Friday the 12th of February 2021 and I'm joined for the first time by three of my colleagues, Caroline Cuthbert, Rachel Kay and Kevin Ward. So would you kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the business? Caroline.
Good morning, I'm Caroline Cuthbert. I'm the HR Director for Ward Security and my remit and my team's remit is to provide full support for our people through the whole employee life cycle, and that ranges from recruitment, training and development and well-being.
Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Kay. I'm the head of HR. I report into Caroline, so covering the areas that Caroline's listed there, and I lead the HR team through that employee life cycle.
And in the upper right hand corner of my screen, but I don't know where he is on yours, he's dressed very, very smartly, so he must be important, Mr. Ward.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, it's the third or fourth time I've worn a suit in the last 12 months, Paul, so I thought best make the effort. My name's Kevin Ward. I'm the Managing Director of Ward Security, and my responsibility in the business is to make sure that the business strategy is delivered and our customer, sorry, someone's dog's barking.
It's Betty. It's Betty.
Oh,
she's supposed to be out for a walk now.
I'm going to carry on because we've had quite a few outtakes. So yeah, making sure that the business strategy is delivered and making sure that the people in the business are supported and able to deliver our expectations.
You've been for everyone in the early part of 2021. Caroline, you were one of the first people to receive a vaccination in the UK. So how's your last 15 months or so been?
Yeah, so unlike or more so for everyone, my journey has been quite different. So I was in the clinically extremely vulnerable category, so I started shielding on the 12th of March and I relocated to my cottage in East Sussex. And from really the beginning of March to where we are today, for the HR team, we've been extremely busy around the furlough, the new legislation, supporting our employees through this pandemic, ensuring that they're getting the right communications, the right support, making sure that we've got the right information for them around really taking them through this journey and working differently. So for the HR team, it's been extremely busy. We've also done some fantastic work around working together around forums like Include, so looking at our inclusivity and diversity. Rachel's heading up the Mind Index with real focus on well-being and mental health. And we come into 2021 with the ambition that this year would be different. And here we are again in lockdown. For me personally, I've had the vaccination, my first vaccine on the 28th of January, which was a big relief for myself. I've personally missed my colleagues. I've seen everybody on the screen, but I've been really delighted with how everyone's worked together and, our achievements. And we're leading a huge project around business continuity in our business as well. And this particular subject matter is around apprenticeships. And we're continuing to engage and put people through apprentices during such a difficult time. So challenging, interesting, testing, but very rewarding.
Fantastic. Rachel, how's it been for you?
Yeah, I mean, similar but different. I think there's that saying, isn't it? We're all in the same sea, but in different, all in the same storm, but in different boats. And I think, it's hard at the beginning, getting used to working from home full time, sort of very suddenly, to then getting used to it, to then, missing people. And I think it's been a real up and down sort of journey for most people. And I think, for HR, it's been key to kind of really check in with people, for myself, checking in with my team. They've all had, different ups and downs throughout the last year. But carrying on with what we need to do, what we need to achieve, and as Caroline said, a lot more on top of that, learning new legislation and all the furloughing people and the different implications of that. So probably, a extremely challenging year, but one with lots of positives that have come out of it around supporting people, well-being, actually talking about mental health much more than ever before, which for me is, really important and a massive kind of positive that's come out of a really horrible negative.
Fantastic. And Kevin, I guess as a business leader that started off 2020 looking very promising to have a lot of challenges and a lot of curveballs thrown your way. It must have been an interesting period for you as a man in the chair.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. I mean, 21 years of ward security, and clearly there's never been anything like this historically. We've had some ups and downs, as every business does over the years. So 2020 in particular was incredibly hard, very, very challenging for all of us. But I think for me personally, also probably one of my proudest years. The way that everyone's performed, from my frontline staff, the head office teams, the regional teams, the way they've behaved, the teamwork in such difficult circumstances has been, truly exceptional. And for me, just, I'm incredibly proud of what everyone's achieved, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the business seems to have weathered that initial storm. We think 2021 is going to be equally as challenging, but for different reasons. But it'd be interesting to see how that plays out over the coming months. But I mean, certainly having joined the business myself early in 2020, I've had around about 70 days being in the office and well over 300 of being out of the office and remote working. I think I've actually left home probably 6 or 7 times, twice in the last couple of days for a site visit, and also to do a presentation yesterday with some solid internet and all the other challenges that we face. But yeah, I feel like I've met a lot of people, but I've not actually seen them face to face. So it'd be great to actually sort of bring those relationships forward on a face-to-face contact basis rather than just across a screen, and get to know people a lot better, and equally for people to get to know me a bit better as well. So I guess we're coming to the end of National Apprenticeship Week, which I know has been a big push within the business, and apprentices are very key to what we do. So why do we do apprenticeships? What do we do, and how many people have we got in the business? Caroline, do you want to just give us an overview of kind of our apprenticeship strategy?
Sure. So I think what I would do is go back to around about 2016, 2017, when the apprenticeship levy was on the legal landscape. So clearly that was a piece of legislation that came in, and for me to drive the apprenticeship agenda through the people strategy was primarily around changing perceptions. So I think traditionally the apprenticeship was, or the apprentice was always thought of somebody who didn't get qualifications, may have done a trade, and of course the actual remit of the apprenticeships that are on offer now are completely different. So my role was really to engage with the business to say there are fantastic opportunities here to bring people into our business and develop our own people through the business through a range of apprenticeships. And the ethos around apprentices is to learn as you earn. So the individual comes into the business, they undertake their chosen subject matter, and they can range from a level 2 right up to a level 7, and a level 7 could be a 5-year university degree equivalent. And the range of apprenticeships can range literally from business administration to funeral director to chartered manager. And of course, in our business, what's key is security first line manager, team leader, supervisor, operations departmental manager, and then our support functions. So for us, really, it was to break down some perceptions that apprentices were for a specific trade, to break down perceptions that it's always for young people. It's not. Apprentices are for all age ranges, and it's a great opportunity to bring people into the business where they learn about the business, they learn different etiquettes and protocols of working in a business, they're learning their subject matter, and they're working towards a qualification, a recognition, a vocational achievement in a career path they wish to choose. I think the other thing I would say about the apprenticeships is they are built on KSBs, so knowledge, skills and behaviours. And the knowledge is learning the subject matter. The skills are how you develop yourself as a person, and the behaviours around learning how to interact, your interpersonal skills, how to be a leader, how to motivate. So the whole framework of apprentices was really fit for purpose for our business to give people the opportunity to develop on their skills, to learn new skills, and for us as a business to grow our individuals so that they can be the best version of themselves that they can be through our succession planning, and also ultimately to retain our employees as well.
And Rachel, how do apprenticeships kind of work for you? You know, how do you see them in the business? What types of things are we doing? And obviously, you've got a few people that work in the same office as you that are in apprenticeships. So how do you see that coming alive in the business?
Yeah, so when I joined the business, we initially looked at kind of leadership development programs. It was something that sort of you know, Caroline was looking at when I first joined, and so it for me it's two strands. We've got our current employees that we'd like to get through those leadership development programs at different levels of their sort of leadership development journey, and then we've also got the strand of kind of new employees coming in apprenticeships, such as, you know, we've had a payroll apprentice, we've had an IT apprentice. So we have two strands. We have our cohorts of leadership programs. So we have operation departmental managers level 5. We run our first cohort in 2018, and then we've been running that same cohort ever since. So new applicants each year from the current business can apply. Our second one is, well, it started off being sort of team leader supervisor level 3, and then the security first line manager level 3 apprenticeship was launched. So we sort of steered onto that path because that made more sense to us as a business, obviously being the security first line. And then, yeah, as I say, we've then got we've brought in new employees to come onto apprenticeships in payroll, IT. We've got 2 in finance currently, and our current cohort has 14 people ready to sign up for the 2 leadership development programs we've got running in 2021. So for me, it's kind of coordinating those application processes, getting line managers sign off, because we need the line managers to be on board with those learners. That, you know, they're massively key to making sure that those apprentices get the learning opportunities and the learning experiences that we need them to pass their apprenticeships, and then kind of liaison with the apprenticeship provider to match the two together and make sure that, you know, the communication and the flow is there through their programme.
Fantastic. I mean, it sounds like there's lots of activity there. And coming to you, Kevin, very briefly on this. I mean, I know Caroline said that apprenticeships are for all ages, but and we understand that they're not just for young people, but we have taken on a few apprentices during 2020, which probably for young people was a difficult time to find employment in general. So do you think it's still creating opportunities for young people to come in and learn new skills, and for that to be supplemented in some sort of formal structure? And how do you see that benefiting water security?
Well, it's an interesting point, Paul. And, you know, going back to Caroline's point, you know, when the apprenticeship scheme first came out, I couldn't really see how that was going to work for us as a security business. You know, so I was a little bit naive there, to be honest with you. And I've been very impressed, with the support and the training and the apprenticeships for our frontline staff, because, you know, we're very, very keen to continually develop their skills, but also for the support team. And I think the important thing is for us as a security company is people forget that we have, you know, a very professional team of people behind the scenes, you know, from HR, payroll, IT, you know, business services that support the business. So I think for me, I've been very impressed with the calibre and the quality of the younger team members that have joined us. Certainly through a very, very difficult year, and I appreciate it must be so hard for them not being able to have that sort of interaction day to day, and yet they're still you know, working very hard. I've also been incredibly impressed with, again, as Caroline said, the people that have been with us for a longer period, perhaps more senior people who are challenging themselves and seeing, you know, an apprenticeship as a positive thing and not a negative thing. And I think historically, if I said to some of our team members, you know, do you fancy going on an apprenticeship, they'd have thought we were mad. Having now seen the benefits of it, the structure of it, and the commitment from the business to making sure that they develop, I think everyone's really on board with it, and I've been really, really surprised, to be honest with you, pleasantly so.
And Caroline, I mean, I know apprenticeships are obviously part of our upskilling strategy, but it does seem, looking at the press and LinkedIn and all the other social media channels, that because of the period of lockdown through 2020, then we're still in it at the moment, that people really have been embracing training and upskilling. So alongside the apprenticeships, have you seen a bigger uptake of general training and upskilling of teams within the ward community?
Yes, certainly have. And I think it's definitely worth saying that during lockdown last year, we did take on 2 new apprentices into roles, one within IT and one within our engineering solutions department. So we were active in the apprenticeship field even during lockdown. But I think to answer your question around the training generally, we've clearly shifted our training more into a digital platform. So we offer a range of e-learning modules, and we break these down into what is mandatory for me to be able to do my role in ward security, what are the core skills that our leaders of the business need to have to enable them to really drive people culture and people leadership. And then we have the opportunity around how can I personally develop, and what e-learning skills or e-learning training would enable me to grow as an individual, which aren't necessarily associated to my role. So we have seen an uptake. We've had a good focus around raising awareness on equality, diversity and inclusion, on unconscious bias, so making sure that our behaviours are reflected correctly within our business. We've had a good uptake on customer care and their CPD qualified training modules around ensuring we give the right customer experience regardless of where we work within the business. A good focus on cyber security and counter-terrorism. And then we will get into our bespoke training packages around individuals' personal development plans. We have also delivered our security qualifications in COVID secure training environments as well with new customers. So that's been a great achievement for everyone that's been involved. But I think 2020 and should continue for our business into 21 and beyond. We should always be continuously improving around upskilling ourselves, and I think we've set the bar now, so it can only continue.
I mean, I've actually done that myself. In Q1 last year, I did my Chartered Security Professional, which is a great achievement. Very limited number of people that have done that, but the lockdown gave me the opportunity to actually do some structured learning and to formalise some of my qualifications. And I think one of the things that really sets Ward apart in my mind is the fact that you've got genuine, accredited and externally verified security professionals. And I think as the market and the sector starts to professionalise itself more, the companies that are going to make a difference are the people that have got these skill sets. And Rachel, just in support of that, outside of the apprenticeship, I know that a big push for you during 2020 and for everyone in general has been the mental health and well-being of all of our colleagues, particularly during some very distressing times. I mean, our staff, our frontline staff are key members of the public who have been going to work during very difficult and challenging periods, and I know that workplace well-being and mental health is something that you've been really focusing on, including the Mind Index. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, it sort of leads on from training and sort of upskilling ourselves. So we've actually in 2020 managed to train 3 of our current employees, one being myself in mental health first aid. So we've now got 3 trained mental health first aiders, and I'm also qualified to then train mental health first aiders to become first aiders. So yeah, that we've introduced that. We've also, as we've said there, we're taking part currently in the Mind Wellbeing Index. So Mind the charity, hence my background, my screen background, and so we're currently collating the evidence to kind of to show what we've been doing around that this year. We're constantly putting sort of communications out to our frontline staff via their sort of employee portal. We've got a wellbeing hub where there's access to all sorts of support tools, the usual things from the employee assistance programme, but through to we've got a dedicated email address where they can email in anonymously or named, and a mental health first aider will contact them. We've also got a Google form which again allows them to kind of assess their own mental health, and then we can assess that as one of the first aiders and recognise whether they need to be contacted or not. We've also put a lot around the external support that's available to people through all the different channels, and yeah, we're just continually kind of saying to people it's okay not to be okay, and there are people here that can listen and will listen. And you know, we've also embedded that into our induction processes and into our people managers training. So our HR managers now deliver mental health training to our people managers as part of their people managers training. So there's a lot more we can do, and we're hoping that the Mind Wellbeing Index will give us that benchmark, and we'll come back with areas of improvement that we can then action plan against. So we've started it in 2020, and we're going to continue with that in 2021 for sure.
Yeah, and it's been a great piece of work, and I think what you've done has made a massive difference to a lot of people during a very challenging period. So thank you to you and your colleagues for setting that up, and also for everyone else that's taking it up throughout the business to look after everyone, because we are an extended ward family. And I guess, Kevin, that's a nice way just to bring it back to you, just to wrap up really around how you just feel your teammates, your colleagues, the extended ward family have worked for you, and is there anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, I think it's well, what I'd say, Paul, for those of you who haven't seen our head office video, there is a link for it, which if you haven't seen it, please do, which shows you, it's a fantastic office that is designed to support our clients and to support our people. And there's a video we did just to do a virtual walk around, and it shows the open spaces. Now, there's no private offices. We all have an open office, so we can all network and talk to each other. And there's a real buzz about our business and a real passion. So as I walk around now, this is the effect of COVID-19 or 2020 for me. Is we've got this fantastic office, a couple of members of staff in with us today, who either can't work at home or have had to come in for today. And as I look round, I can see, there's desks where apprentices would be sitting. And there's two over here, payroll, our receptionist, the IT team up there. So for me, what I would say to all of our people is, I can't wait. I can't wait to get you all back into the office where we can have some fun. We can work hard. We're a really passionate business, and we're all fantastically hardworking people. It's been really hard. Hopefully there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and all I'd ask is, please carry on doing what you're doing. I've got every belief that whether you're working on our front line supporting us, whether you're in the regional team supporting us, or whether the people that usually occupying these desks, it is truly fantastic what you're doing. I trust you all. I've got absolutely no doubt that you're all probably working harder from home than you are from the office. So that'll be a challenge when you come back. I'll push you even harder. Thanks a lot. Stay safe, and thank you for this, Paul. I think it's been really good.
Thank you very much, and I'd just like to say thank you, Caroline, Rachel and Kevin, for joining me in this voyage into the unknown of introducing what's going on in our business with some serious senior people. So thanks very much. I'm sure we'll love to have you back on future episodes. We're going to challenge ourselves and try and get the operators on and see what they've got to say, and the BD team, and find out a little bit more about what goes on within the organisation. But thanks for joining me. Thank you for your input, and I look forward to welcoming you back at future events. Thank you.
Take care. Stay safe, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.